Hello and welcome to this roundtable about the book Corporate Explorer Fieldbook. I'm Ram Gayoso, your host, and in this roundtable, I'm also joined by the author, Dr. Eugene Ivanov. Folks, the discussion is about the Corporate Explorer Fieldbook, How to Build New Ventures in Established Companies. This book is co-edited by Andrew Beans and Dr. Eugene Ivanov. It is a collection of the tools, methodologies, and techniques one needs to build successful, market-ready ventures from within existing organizations. Now, they have a team of accomplished actors that are ready to explain how to develop a practical strategy, gather market insights, develop a jobs to be done market canvas, collect customer research, and reduce organization risk. Well, without further ado, let's get started. Dr. Ivanov, thank you so much for being here. So wonderful to see you.
Thank you very much, Rom. Thank you for inviting me, and it's my pleasure to talk to the participants of your conference. I wish you the best conference you ever had.
Thank you so much. So let's talk about your first book. It was about crowdsourcing, right? And this book is about innovation management.
Yeah.
Did writing the first book help you edit the second?
Absolutely, because this book is actually a crowdsourced project. We have 25 authors, and the experience of collecting information, contribution from different people, and bringing them together, kind of, to create one whole, definitely helped me a lot. And also, I'd like to make it very clear up front. My co-editor, Andy Beans, kind of, a colleague and a good friend of mine, he's been a driving intellectual force of this project. He's kind of, content person. He is very accomplished advisor to companies. But but the book of this scale, it's also a project, and it must be managed because 25 people, very busy, highly accomplished, sometimes forgetting things, people, you have to manage that. And this was, and I'm gladly took this part of the project on me, and Andy and I turned out to be absolutely fabulous team, perfect team.
Well, I couldn't find a better person to run that crowdsourcing information. So why did you write this book, and what is the key message there?
Well, still even now, and you work with startups regularly, and you can hear this quite popular opinion that large companies cannot innovate. Too bureaucratic, too large, too lazy, too dominating, too arrogant. Only startups can innovate. We can discuss about efficiency of innovating as startups. It's serious conversation, but the opinion that large company can innovate is not true. Actually, there is a growing list of large behemoths, multinational corporations who can innovate very well, very efficiently, creating new sources of growth. NVIDIA comes to mind immediately. It's one of the kind of shining examples of that. Amazon, Apple, you name it. And they're all very large companies. So large companies can innovate. Now, the question is why they don't. And the question is that they don't know how. So over the years, there was a point of view in academic circles at Harvard Business School, at Stanford Business School, that actually created a concept of how large companies can innovate. Key to this point is the concept of ambidextrous organization. I won't go too deep. So there is a momentum has been created that people believe, yes, we can. We know we can do that, but they don't know how. And so in our conversation, any conversation, he also meets a lot of people. In my conversation, people ask, okay, we are already converted, but we don't know where to start and how to proceed. So gradually, kind of, the idea of creating this how-to book has emerged. And it's for a reason we call the field book. It's a collection of specific tools that people can take and run their own companies. Being startup or large companies, I insist it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so let's kind of focus a little bit on that. So usually, so the way you guys thought about the book, you're targeting the larger organization, and you just
Yeah.
said, well, being a smaller company, it doesn't matter, so they can all benefit. But could you go over that specific topic? So how can the startups and the small companies
Yeah.
benefit from understanding the framework you introduce in the book?
Yeah. Well, again, I might be a little bit simplified, but in my view, the reason, kind of conceptually, if you want intellectually, the reason between startup and large company is size and amount of money. Large company, by definition, have resources, so they can run multiple projects, where startup, as usual, cannot afford more than one serious project. And that's pretty much the only serious difference. However, the way you run this one project, be it the only project for startup, or be it one of 10 or 12 for a large company, is pretty much the same. And when we describe our technology, our methods, our protocols for different stage of innovation process, they apply for this one project or one part of a single project. And who uses technology methodology, startups or large companies, essentially doesn't matter. Of course, there is always modification. There is no, every company is unique. No question about that. Do we claim that all of these methods will work the same way everywhere all the time? No. However, we provide people with a set of questions they would ask themselves when they plan their work. And this set of questions, I truly believe, is the same regardless whether you work for a 5 people startup or 500 people multinational.
Okay, so let's kind of go back to the issue of the large company. Of course, we also have large companies in the audience of this conference as well. And you actually focus on how to build new ventures in established companies, right? So, what is really the main reason or reasons why those established companies do not innovate as much? Is it because of their dominant market position, so they don't feel the need to innovate, or they are risk averse, or a combination thereof? So, what is it that the large companies, what kind of bias they have that they have to focus on so that they
Yeah.
can improve and become more innovative?
Well, I think that we can perhaps safely exclude that large companies don't feel that they cannot not innovate. Uh, of course, no one would admit, well, our company doesn't need to innovate. Everyone knows, well, we all must innovate. Yes, maybe some companies believe that they are so successful, so they so immune of competition, of disruption, that they could actually give it, a slack. However, pretty much now every company, every large and successful company knows that they must innovate, otherwise they have no tomorrow. Now, there are two problems. First, companies as people become victims of their own success. And it sounds almost kind of paradoxical, but yes, companies become captives of their own prior successes. And this slows down their kind of, their attempt to innovate, to forget about prior successes and try something new. And perhaps cannibalize, product lines that brought you money and revenue, up to now. That's one thing. The second, innovating, it's a kind of, special corporate function, because what is modern corporation? It's a organization that is focused on impeccable execution. Take a look at Six Sigma movement. The level of mistakes, 10 in minus 6 degree, that's execution. Predictability. Uh, People in large companies hate uncertainty. And innovation is about unpredictability, about uncertainty, about high level of failures. Not 10 and minus 6, it's about 50, 60, 90%.
Wow.
And this creates this kind of, climate where it's difficult to change yourself, it's difficult to change your DNA and start being unpredictable and error prone. And that is the second equally important question why large company can't innovate. And kind of, maybe a little bit another aspect is that even when company start innovating, they still don't know, and this is actually even in the academic literature still kind of debatable topic. What should be the level of closeness or remoteness between a new nature and the mothership? There is actually a very popular concept, the island with a bridge. So you should put your new innovation, new venture on an island, but to build a bridge to the mainland. If you put them without bridge, they will be forgotten. If you leave them on the mainland, they will hug them, they will choke them in hugs. There is kind of this slang in innovation circles that this company will become part of routine operations. They will get metrics like ROI, which is completely inapplicable to innovation project. That's what makes innovation in large companies difficult. So, and I want to come back to this term, ambidextrous organization. That is a concept that shows you how you peacefully and productively coexist a core business that still produces money and this new venture, so that they love each other and help each other to be successful.
Okay, so let's focus a little bit on the role of leadership. So the
Yeah.
relationship between leadership and innovation. So it requires a lot of investment and a lot of commitment for sure. So what is the role of leadership here? Is innovation a tops down or a bottoms up exercise?
Well, Rom, this is a softball question. Yes. Yes, and yes. We could debate about percentage. I personally believe that 100% of successful innovation programs depend on the leader of the organization, and I'm saying the lead organization, CEO, and close kind of close circle of C-level executives. Uh, I it there are still point of view you can hear it some to time. In our company, innovation is everyone's job. You heard that apparently. Well, we all know that when it's everyone's job, is no one's job, and that's unfortunately what happened. And that's what happens. And then where this kind of motto flourishes is when leadership took hands off the innovation process. With strong leadership, innovation becomes, bear with me, a top-down process. Nothing can happen in the company when there is no strong leadership and strong message coming from the very top of the organization. Now, when this system is established, then yes, that innovation becomes kind of bottom-up process when people on the ground kind of create solutions, build ideas, and everything starting going up to the leadership, either for resources, money, approval, whatever. But again, from me, the first was the leadership.
Yeah, so again, and let's go back to the difference between a startup and an established company. So in the startup situation, probably the innovator is the one who started the business
Yeah.
anyway, so it has no problem getting people excited
Yeah.
over innovation. But in the case of an established company, right? So how is it that the leadership or the people who are driving the innovation process can get the rest of the organization excited over the innovation process? Because again, let's face it, they're busy, they have their own projects, they're doing their own
Yeah.
jobs. So what's some kind of the tips and tricks you suggest for the large organizations? How can they get people excited over innovation?
Um, I think that the problem to find people who are excited about innovation, to find people who would love to do innovation, serious innovation program in large companies is not a problem. There is a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, who are startup people by their nature, by their psyche, who for whatever reason you can understand this reason, who still work for large companies. They would love to innovate. The problem is that they often cannot, because there is no condition to uh, to establish serious innovation program. And I'm not talking about incremental innovation. Pretty much every organization has this kind of, let's improve 10% here, 10% here. But as someone, I don't know, is Zuckerberg or Bezos say, well, we are not Zuckerberg. We are not interested in 10% improvement. We are interested in tenfold improvement. And that cannot happen, again, coming back, without leadership. So leadership should create an atmosphere where these people can flourish and understand that they can do what they want. Now, again, I'm not subscriber of the theory that everyone has to innovate.
Mhm.
Innovation is like not everyone can, quality control. It's you have to have some kind of psychological profile for that. So the best way to start at a large company is to find people who want to do that and let them do that, and forget about the rest for a while. When when they come up with first successes and you reward, recognize, and publicize these successes, then it becomes kind of more ground level operation. More people would come. However, at every point of the journey, it's the responsibility of a leadership to provide a strategic vision of what you want to achieve. And not only what you want to do, why you want to do that. Now people pay a lot of attention to this emotional component of any innovation activity: sustainability, equality, better life for other people. It's very important. And it's only leadership that can provide this vision. And we describe tools in the book, in the first part of this book, to do exactly that.
Yeah, my next question was about that. So I want to pick on one of them. You mentioned the jobs to be done canvas.
Yeah.
So what is that and how does it work?
Uh, well, jobs to be done is a tool to define your target market. Why is it important? Because actually, unfortunately, very many startups fail, and fail very early in their innovation journey, because they didn't properly define their target market. Now, I wouldn't blame them. They're not lazy. They're not kind of, uneducated. The problem is that in the literature, there is actually serious paucity of description of how you define a target market. Take this very popular concept of lean startup. Very popular. Every startup uses it. They describe their process on the assumption that you already defined your target market. And if you didn't, well, you might be in trouble. So jobs to be done is a one, and I emphasize it, one of the possible approaches to defining your target market. And this approach was designed by the late Clayton Christensen, professor of Harvard Business School. And his major idea is that people use products not for the sake of these products, but to do a job that's important for these people. So describing it okay, let me put it this way. So traditional definition of markets is kind of by demography. So, for example, you have a something like like a brush, and you say this brush would work for males older than 50 who have some problem with here. Okay, then you would kind of go further. Well, these people should live in some kind of north hemisphere, and then no. Eventually, you come up with a what they call it, demographic profile of your solvers. Experience shows that almost always you're very rough. Jobs to be done arrive at this target market definition from other angle, from the outcome for the customers. Let's say I pick up something from my table. Okay, we have this kind of thing. What can you use it? Who would need this thing? You first maybe child who imagines that it's his or her new pet, or maybe it's a painter who using it as a model for something like that. So you create your target market from the bottom, from people who can use this object to solve their problems. And when you know what problems they want to sell, the problems they want to solve, you can create a product that would help them solve it. Then they more likely than not will come to you and buy your product.
Wonderful.
As opposed to they come
Somebody
to us.
else's project.
Why won't you buy our wonderful brush? Hey, you can use it for something, right, Rob?
Good. Well, not in my case, as you can see, but it's okay.
That's why I pick up you and myself. We are in the same kind of target market, if you want.
Okay. So
Of course, it's very simplified description, but this is chapter 4 in our book. It's brilliantly written by Tony Ulrich with very great kind of diagrams. You really get it when you look at these pictures. So it's very powerful technique.
So, Dr. Ivanov, can you tell us the key takeaways from your book? What should people take from your book?
Well, first, my takeaway for large companies would be short, kind of, citing classic. Yes, you can. You definitely can innovate. You definitely can and must use your gut feeling, your trust, your assumption. You definitely want to be emotionally involved engaged with your innovation. What you must not do is to leave your innovation effort to only that. Innovation is a complex discipline approach that has methods and technology to test your assumptions, to verify your gut feelings, and to realize your emotional response in a very disciplined, structured way. And if will you ask me about startups, because my specific message that would be both valuable for large companies startup is do not invest before you learn. And this is especially startups sometimes don't invest because they have no money. That may be a good thing. Well, large companies have money. So there is a trend kind of, to invest, to build, and to manufacture, and then see what happens. Sometimes bad things happen. Kind of one of the recent example discussed in the literature was actually consumer division of Goldman Sachs. They had beautiful technology. They had tons of gut feelings, including the CEO. They created a consumer division. Consumer was not excited. And company lost like $3 billion. That's what happens when you invest before learning. So this must not happen. Learning
So
first, investment second.
looks like that is the best advice you can give. Learn first, invest second. So
Yeah,
for
I wish startups all the money they can collect. I'm very pro startup, but still, guys, learn before you spend this money.
wonderful. And so, folks, Dr. Ivanov did a wonderful job at putting together a series of steps. So, questionnaires, practical tools. He goes over methodologies, specific tools that will help you become more successful in your journey. You do not have to go it alone. Dr. Ivanov is right there to hold your hand, and his book is a must if you are thinking about how we're going to move forward. If you're a large corporation, how we're going to manage that innovation process. If you're a startup and you're looking for ways to create processes around your innovation efforts, this is a must. This is a wonderful book and a wonderful resource for you to have. Dr. Ivanov, thank you so much for your taking the time to be here with me and the folks at the conference.
Thank you very much again for having me. Thank you very much for listening to me. And again, I wish you the most wonderful and productive conference.
Wonderful. And thank you so much again, folks.
Thank you.
Dr. Eugene Ivanov's Corporate Explorer Fieldbook, How to Build New Ventures in Established Companies. Thank you so much for your being in this session with Dr. Ivanov and with me. And I hope to see you in the next session. See you next time. Thank you.